right. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Comics News Today. We welcome you all here, and we're going to have some interesting conversations about the news that's going on. But of course, first, we want to get into our various updates that we have over here at Fanspeak. Fanspeak is, of course, doing that art contest, so everyone keep that in mind and get involved. That's coming to a close next week, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But the first thing we want to do is say hi to my guests. We got Booster, DeWolf, Denali, and Pixel with me. How you guys doing today? Everyone
Hey,
feeling happy?
Yeah, doing well.
Excellent.
ready to
Yeah, I feel
go.
like that, I guess.
All right, guys. So we want to make sure we come over here to our channel, and we want to go ahead and share that out. So everybody share that up here on the panel as well. Please share that out and let everybody know we're on. Do is and start
Say hi
getting
to
some
my
people
guests.
in here. Today we have a couple of really interesting things to talk about, I think, personally. Now, Denali, of course, is our intrepid news reporter, and he collects all that news and puts it on Fanspeak on the Facebook page. And of course, you guys can check out those links below. We have a link for everything down there, including contacting me and letting me know you want to be on the show as a fan guest. Denali, you've been out there searching through the news. Was today a heavy news day or a light news day, sir?
Moderate news day.
A moderate news day. All right.
Yeah.
We did see a bunch. It was for me actually. I thought there was more than normal. It was a pretty heavy day, especially seeing as yesterday was past couple of days were a little bit lighter. Let me see who we got in. We got Hoth Rebel 86. Hello, how you doing? We have Tank Ferret. Hello, and yeah, just since I see Tank over here, and of course Tank is an artist, and Tank came on to the Drone Recorded Fan Edition, and we're doing the Drone Recorded Fan Edition, of course, later today on this channel. That will be at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. Those are always great fun. And of course, the winner of that competition goes on and gets on the pros channel, of course, which was on yesterday on Mike's channel, Blacklist Universe. And yesterday we had a pro winner. Who was that pro winner yesterday, Denali? You remember?
Jiminy Cricket.
No, that was the fan. The pro winner was Kanan White, I
Yeah,
believe.
in the white.
The
Sorry,
Beast.
that was me there. Yeah.
The Beast.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh wow, what an amazing artist he is. But that's the cool thing about the Drone Recorded Fan Edition. The winner goes on and gets to compete against the pros, and we've actually had John Dillard go in and take the win over there, which is really cool. And in truth, all the Fan Edition artists have done very well.
Booster
Tank,
excluding.
well, no. But Booster is wonderful,
Not yet.
and all jokes aside, Booster actually is improved.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
Tank Ferris says, I'm going to be playing the home edition. Yeah. But definitely come check that out. But more importantly, if you're an artist and you're listening, contact me. My links are right down below in this video. And tell me, hey, put me on the show, or contact Pixel. Of course, this is Pixel's thing, the fan edition of Drone Recorder, and it's a wonderful idea he had. But you can contact either one of us, and we will organize with each other and make sure that you get on the show. So please keep that in mind. I think it's a great. I love that. It's my favorite thing. Do you guys enjoy the Drone Recorded shows?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely spectacular to see what these artists can whip up in just a
Yeah.
couple of hours, and just the level of detail. The art's freaking beautiful.
And talking about the fan edition, that's tonight, correct?
That's right. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard
That's
Time,
right.
right here on this channel, right here on the Chester Busby channel. Pixel is dropping his Twitter link up there, so please contact Pixel, or you can contact me as well. Either way, I'll certainly get the information to Pixel. And we want to have more and more people involved in the fan edition part, because it's really cool. Because the fan edition has an actual prize, right? The winner gets to go sit and compete against the pros, where the pros are just doing it for fun, for our entertainment, really. But we have a real prize, and you're going to be able to go toe to toe with them. And like I said, I'm very proud. All the winners of the fan edition have done very well against the pros, and that's encouraging. Hello, Primarch Sanguinius. He has come in. And of course, yes, we are going to be doing Skeletor today. We mirror the Pro Edition. Who do you think had the best Skeletor? I think Kanan did. They were all really good, though. but that's my
I
opinion.
voted Kanan as well. It was beast.
Yeah, Kanan is ridiculous, man. But they were all really good. But I just I really want to keep encouraging this and promoting this because I think it's something we need to promote. So so please come and support that. Come check that out. Be part of that. But moving on from that, though, we do have some news to get to. So let's go ahead and get to that news. And the first thing we have today is this. Now, Denali, why don't you go ahead and introduce them to this article, please?
We still see your bare face, Chester.
Yeah.
You see a what?
We see your bare face.
Oh, you guys.
Right.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, we can see it on
that's-
the channel though now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem. I do apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah, Denali, I apologize for that.
Yeah.
I have many
No
things
problem.
I need to do.
No problem. So for those who are listening, we're looking at comic book DC website, and they're talking about Zack Snyder's reveal of Justice League original ending, which was supposed to be a two-parter, which at the end is the Justice League going through the boom tube and facing off with Darkseid. So the whole buildup was them seeing the bigger threat of that. And they were reviewing the deleted scenes in the Blu-ray cut that's been recently released.
Yeah, and this is just a little update on the story. There's information here. You can go over to comic book /DC and check it out. And if you're interested in the article, but basically it's just showing us that Zack Snyder had an idea where he wanted to do a two-part movie instead of one, and he was going to introduce Darkseid not only at the end of the movie, but he was actually going to be in some of the earlier scenes showing him as a young man in the early interventions in America, not America, in on Earth, I guess. Sorry, and yeah, I don't know how interesting it is. It all got screwed up. Zack Snyder's loss of his child was a very sad thing, which brought in Josh Whedon to fix it up, and it was just a messed up and screwed up movie, and it wasn't good at all. The only thing that was good in Justice League where it was the Superman scene where he had just woken up and they were fighting in the city there. That was amazing because it showed Superman as he should be. But other than that, the movie was really rather bad. It's not even mediocre. It was just bad. But
I haven't even seen it. I'm a big DC fan. I couldn't watch it out of sheer shame.
Yeah,
I knew it was gonna be bad just by the look of it.
Yeah, it just unfortunately my wife made me watch it. But in a way, I'm happy.
The likely excuse.
No, she did because she kept bugging me about it, and I kept ignoring it. And she was like, so I was like, all right, fine. But I actually thank her for that because the Superman scene is worth it. Just that. Everything else is no good, but that scene, it was quite amazing. Did you guys check that out, DeWolf or Pixel?
Well, actually, I had to jump in here and say, what is this, right? Because we have them having to come forward and reveal other things about a movie after the fact, right? So if a movie's bad, right, you have to come back with things like this if they're excuses. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it has something to do with, like, in other areas we put them out as, variant endings like Blade Runner had, but it's the way it's coming out. I think I'll go back to my original point. The way things that come out are more like excuses, and if you add them as variants onto a DVD because this is the director's cut or something. Well, actually, the director's cut of Blade Runner was made because they changed the ending before and it was bad the first time, and then the other one was more esoteric and mental and better. So I'll stick with that. I'll stick with the idea that once you come out with a vision, having to make excuses for it, which I think this is not a very good thing. That's what my comment.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, it just undermines that you didn't really have good faith in the product that you were created. It didn't have a solid foundation.
Yeah, that's true. Any opinions on this, Pixel, or are we going to move on to the next story?
I think we've pretty much nailed it. I mean, it's kind of pointless to bring it out now. It's just them with shade at what happened and trying to disassociate himself with the final product.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we're going to move on to the next story, but just keep in mind that here on the Fandom Zones, we do Fanspeak, we do Bugbear's Basement, we do Comics News Today, and we do other things we're working on behind the scenes here, new ideas, fresh things to see if you guys like it. But of course, we try our best to stick everything at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We try to take that window, as it were. So please come and support us on that. And by doing that, of course, you can hit that like button, you can subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that people, so you know when we're on. But actually, one of the more helpful things is actually to hit that share button and send it out to your friends and family. So the next story we have here is one that's close to my heart, and I know it's close to DeWolf as well. And I guess the first thing I do is that
Mr. Fowler, I'm a big fan.
yeah, so there you go. I would ask the chat, guys.
Oh, wrong Fowler, sorry.
Okay, yes. Ask the chat how many of you guys actually play Dungeons and Dragons or tabletop role playing. Just kind of give us a shout out so we know who plays those kind of things, because I think most of us here have done some. I know Booster does. You have like a weekly campaign, don't you, Booster?
Yeah, once a week with some mates.
Yeah. DeWolf is
I know one of them in the chat's played. Gary Shipman.
Yeah, Gary has.
I play a samurai cowboy werewolf.
Of course you do. Of course you do. And of course, DeWolf's a player.
Yeah.
How about you, Janelle? You ever play any D&D, man?
Occasionally.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
Pixel?
So, go ahead.
No, I actually never dabbled in D&D. I was really heavy into video games and stuff, so I played a lot of that. And then any time that wasn't spent doing that, I was drawing.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, I get it. But no, I've been playing D&D since 1979. So, I mean, it's, I would say, a major part of my life. But this right here is a maybe interesting story. I'm not sure. B. Dave Walters and Tess Fowler launched a Dungeons and Dragons campaign at IDW in February. Denali, why don't you give us kind of the overall points of this article, please?
Yeah, so we're looking at Bleeding Cool's article, and they're talking about B. David and Tess Fowler. Their 5-issue miniseries about their D&D characters that they wanted to write for IDW, so IDW greenlit this short campaign for us, the consumer, to look at and to see if we enjoyed it or not enjoy it.
Okay, and now Tess Fowler has brought up a bunch of response from several of you guys and in the chat as well. Now, why don't you guys tell me a little bit about why is this Tess Fowler controversial? No one wants to bite on that quickly.
Well, we're trying to keep the drama out, but she's part of the group that speaks out against Comicsgate, calling us the same thing like any other creators. And
so she calls us, Nazis and misogynists.
Yeah,
and
but
but
lately she has stepped back a bit, where she's not actively doing it at this present moment. Can't say anything about the future, but that's what she was. She was one of those personalities, that was chain blocking anybody who disagreed or who did any kind of criticism.
I see. Okay. And well, she's an artist, so let's take a look at her art, huh? How about that? Now, I know for some of you're not going to get all this, but I'm going to go ahead and lay out this art for you, and then I'm going to get responses from the guys. So what we have here at the top is Kenku. And if you know D&D, you know that Kenkus don't speak. All they can do is mimic sounds, and they tend to be thieves or troublemakers. But that doesn't mean you can't have the anti-hero type of thing. But I'm kind of assuming that they're going to be going kind of with a bumblebee type of thing with that, I'm guessing. Over here, we have a tabaxi, this cat. The tabaxis, as you see, for those of you who can't see or are listening to on our podcast, that has this typical smirk that we see in so many comic books these days. Just like, yeah, I'm better than you. Yeah, I'm better, right? Which
Just
is,
missing the glasses.
it's just, yeah.
In the
you're
bottom
right.
left, is that face copy pasted?
I don't know. But it's kind of typical we see. We have an Azimir, I would say a water Azimir here, which has no expression whatsoever. And we have the lead hero. Of course, this is the lead in this comic book is a wizardress. And she's very serious, of course. She has that look on her face like, I will not take no for an answer. Then we have this other guy over here who is kind of maybe just suspicious in his little hidden grin that is hidden underneath his mustache. It looks like he's up to something naughty, I would say. But then over here, the one I thought was very interesting, we have a couple of elves who have really blank stares on their faces. But the interesting, they are African or Black African elves. Now, of course, we all know that doesn't exist. In D&D, there are Black African characters. They're not from Africa, but we have Black African characters, of course. Of course we do, human, right? But elves don't have that. But then Denali had an interesting point that he brought up about what they might be. Denali?
They could be half elves,
Yeah, it could
where
be.
they took more of the human's parents trait.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and they look like they might be twins too. I have no opinion on it yet, but the art here is okay. It's fine. I don't have a problem with that art, but the problem is, I think the art below is what we're going to get, and that's not so good. And it's just, of course, the elves are kind of holding each other's arms, but also standing in such a way it's like, I'm so shy. I'm just I'm shy peoples. All right, you got that. You got the goofy grin on everyone else, and yay, we're a big happy family type of thing that's going on here. But this art doesn't encourage me. The art above would be fine, but this looks like a cover, and this looks like page. So that's my spiel. That's what I have to say about it, and I could hope it's going to be good. But it looks like they're definitely following that typical progressive ideal. You guys have any opinion on this? What do you think, DeWolf, man?
There's the problem I have is maybe I'm old school, but I think old school really it sets a good foundation for certain things. And when you start going into different concepts, I think it starts breaking stuff, right? Because I don't want to play in my world. I'm playing an RPG to be in a different world. And especially D&D. D&D is rich in different cultures. Like for instance, you got the cat people, you've got elves, and right. So we have wolf for those who didn't know. So all of these different things, they have a different flavor, and the artwork of the flavor and how they're introduced and the personalities each give things a different kind of a flavor that takes you away into that world versus our own. And what it looks like here, and you'd mentioned about the sly grin, this, that, and the other, all these things that suggest a lot of things that we're seeing today, nuances of our society. I don't want that, right? So when you're trying to press our society onto other things, which I guess really is what we keep talking about in the SJW model, is putting their concept. They want to put their agenda, their concept, and their idea onto something that's established, onto something else, and it doesn't always work. It really, whether some people like it, some people don't. That's opinions, but in many cases, once you start doing that and changing things, it doesn't work.
Well, I agree 100%, and but I keep my fingers crossed. You never know. I'm certainly going to read a D&D book. I always do. But hopefully it'll be good. But it is obviously this typical stuff. But we got to go to our own actual diversity hire, Booster. Come on, Booster, you're a player, man.
You know what? I don't think it's so bad. Really?
think so.
Like, if they want to have like their no white males club, I say go have at it. As long as the product is good, and if they pull out something great, I say let them have it. Because D&D is something for everyone that can represent different cultures and all that kind of nonsense. And I don't think representation is the worst thing in the bloody world, right? I hate shoehorn representation for sure, but if they want to have all these characters, have at it, I say. As long as the product at the end of the day is good, which I'm sure it won't be, because look who we're talking about here.
That's true. No, that's a very good point. As long as the story's good, yeah.
I mean, eventually the consumers will let their, opinions and verdict be heard. If it's really good, the word of mouth will pick up, and you'll see upticks of sales. And if it isn't good, you'll be like Darth Vader with Chuck Wendig, which was at the very bottom of 500 issues copy.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait and see. I can hope that it's good. But all right, well, we'll move on to our next story here. But
I doubt it's gonna hold on to that grittiness. D&D has what someone in the chat mentions toxic masculinity. I'm just going to say grittiness, the reality of life, death, and struggle.
Oh yeah, and I know I'll be checking it out, and I will do a review on this channel of this for sure.
I keep looking at that damn cat's face though; it's pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, well, it's that. Typical,
I want to punch that cat.
Yeah, it's that typical "I'm better than you." They do that a lot. Face. It's just like, yeah, I'm better than you. I know things you don't know. You're less than me. It's a typical thing. They do it all the time. But before we move to the next story, just remind you that in links down below, we have a podcast that we put out on Anchor. And as you might be able to tell today, we're trying to be more proactive and positive toward doing radio, pure radio with no visuals for the podcast. So we want to put more of those on there. So if you guys are riding in your car, or you have some time where you can only listen and not watch, we want to make that available to you. We'll be putting up more and more shows. So just keep that in mind that does exist, and we're going to be being more involved with that. All right, let's move on to our next one here. Oh goodness, we only have an hour, guys. So
Oh no.
Well, we already know what we're going to talk about, and we can just distill it that Zoe Quinn just shoots herself in her own foot, because she's talking about her new book, Goddess Mode, that we talked about a couple weeks ago when we were showing the preview pages. And this article comes from CBR.com, and they're interviewing Zoe Quinn. And what was interesting is I had two little cuts that I took out of the thing that kind of sums it all up about what the whole thing is about her interview. The first one, is talking about let me see if I can pull it right back up. I think, and this is her own word from the interview, I think as an author, every character ends up low-key being some kind of self-insert. Whether it's some piece of you, like fear or anxiety or hope, it's a mix of all different things I feel about that. Different ways of arguing with myself, and also different personality types I've seen within my time in activism, or trying to work with people I don't see eye to eye with, or people I've been wrong about and needed to learn from, and also putting my own feelings into characters. Not even trying to necessarily forgive myself, but trying to make sense of everything that is messy, complicated business of trying to come up with a version of the world that hasn't existed yet. So off the bat, she's talking that this character is a self-insert,
Yeah. But I have to tell you, Denali, that's not at all what she sounds like, by the way.
No, but I try to be I try to be polite about everything.
No, that's all right. No need. It's Zoe Quinn. You don't have to be polite. She's not going to be polite, and not even close.
Just because she isn't polite, I don't need to go down to her level.
Listen to the Denali Lama.
Thank you, Denali. Namaste.
Yeah.
Um,
So, and that's the thing we have to get across. Don't go down to their level, because if you go down to their level, nobody wins. You just make it worse, and they get a win because they see, haha, I gotcha, and that's what their tactics are. So there's no point going down their level. You know, stand by being true and being, who you are and being civil.
Very good.
Namaste.
Namaste. Booster, let's go down to her level and please read what's on the screen in the best Valley Girl you can do.
Of course, absolutely. Where were we up to? Is it, I think, as an author?
No,
Is
no,
that
just
it?
read right here. That's a really good question. It's hard because
That's like a really good question. It's hard because I still haven't been able to summarize what I'm trying to go for here in one sentence. It's like, hey, how about for my first comic, we build this whole world and we have to build this tech stuff, which is a whole thing, and the whole magic system. And then we also have to make characters. Like, what? If I do this for anyone,
that's
I'm
cool.
going to want to
That's
like
enough. We
shove
just
my
wanted to
face
touch
in a bloody microwave and just slam it repeatedly.
No, we must respect the Denali Lama. We will not go any further down to their level, but we just needed to have that because that is what she sounds like. I wasn't involved with Gamergate, but I certainly watched it, and we saw her speak many times. She is that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then continuing with the article, which is in the next page, she starts talking about finally what her role is in her character, and this is in her own words again. My main character's power is garbage, and figuring out how to choreograph and represent that, and all of these things has computer science double meaning. So let's go again. My main character's power is garbage.
Yep, that's fine. That helps us understand if we want to buy it or not.
Literally? Does she mean literally, or what's going on
She
here?
wants to say useless, but she doesn't understand the English language very well.
Right.
No. I think she's telling the truth. I think she is saying that her character's power is garbage.
Was she a trash witch?
Wow.
She's supposed to be a hacker or something, but her powers are garbage related. I suppose.
I don't know, man. I don't care. I know I'm gonna have to read it because we have to review things over here, which gives me pain because we actually had to read something today, which I didn't want to, and anyway, but of course the Zoe Quinn part of it is just a whole nother aspect. And of course, if you're not aware, we will make you aware that Zoe Quinn is coming from Gamergate. She was part of that whole nonsense where the fans were basically found out that she, who had a boyfriend, was sleeping around with a whole bunch of other reviewers from people like Polygon and Kotaku and such places, and getting them to give a good review on her horrible game Depression Quest. And the fans were like, this game's really bad. Why does it have such a high rating? And it came out because her boyfriend found out that she was sleeping around to get reviews, and he wrote a letter saying that, hey, this is what happened. And the community was like, hey, what are you doing? What are you guys doing? We can't trust you. Polygon and Kotaku, we can't trust you. And then, of course, they came out and they turned it into, oh, you're just hate women and you're attacking women and transgenders, which had nothing to do with it. Right? That's what Zoe Quinn is. That's who she is. And then all of a sudden she's over here in comic books, which she has no connection to, but she's been hired by DC to work with Vertigo to put out a comic book with Robbie Rodriguez, who should have been fired, right, for what he did. And it's outrageous. The whole thing is outrageous. But hey, that's what it is. So.
Yep.
Sorry. I try not to rant.
It's not a show without Chester ranting, and I do find the articles to do that. But yeah, no, reading the article, if I was just a reader and I didn't know anything about Gamergate or Comicsgate, I'm just reading this, just browsing around, and I see this article really wouldn't have put me interested. She talks about her main character being garbage. She's saying this is a self-insert. She's basically saying, hey, this is a wish fulfillment for my own fantasies. And I'm like, I don't want to read anybody's else fantasies. I do want to read a good story
Mhm.
and be entertained.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, though, Robbie Rodriguez, who is not a good person, and we all know he sent pictures of his rectum to Ethan Van Sciver over the internet and did get punished by DC at all, it seems. But to be fair, he is a good artist. He is. Anybody else want to get into the deep waters of this or not?
I think we just said everything that we need to say about this. Everybody can make their own decision about their own feeling about Zoe Quinn and what her impacts to the community are.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Let me come
Yeah,
over
it's
here
done.
in the chat real quick and just say hello to a few people. We got Kronos Chiron. How you doing? Nice to see you. Of course, we have we already said hello to Hoth Rebel, but hello again. We have Dina. How you doing, Dina? Nice to see you. And she certainly has her opinions about Mary Sue. We agree. We have
And
yeah. Go ahead.
Dina, she has not fulfilled her campaign.
That's true.
She used the $85,000 that was given to her to start up the said game and wasted it all. It has nothing to show for it.
Yeah, that's true. We have the Dark Admiral March here, which I'm still waiting for March for you to tell me why you're a Dark Admiral now. I'm just kind of curious. But
That I know. He got commissioned to be a Tuggenut.
oh, okay, all right, cool. I get it. All right, okay. Yeah, no, March has been on Tugs for a long time. That's where I met March, actually. Once again, March, we're still waiting for you, sir. Still waiting. All right. But let's go ahead and move on. We'll come over here. This is an interesting little thing. Denali, why don't you go ahead and introduce what's going on with this, please?
Yeah, so those who have been reading Justice League Dark, it's actually been pretty good. The art is Alvaro Martinez Bueno renews his contract with DC. Exclusive deals, meaning, for those who don't know or who listening who comes across this, when you sign an exclusive deal, you're just producing for that company, and producing art with no other company allowed to hire you, and you can't take any deals for any other companies. Which part of it's good because that means that you're sure to have work and you're not have to struggle about it. The other hand is the negative is that you may be put in books or in projects that doesn't really play to your strengths, and that's happened before, and work with individuals that don't mesh well. But those are the things for business, but I kind of like it because that means that Justice League Dark art will still remain consistent. And that's all I wanted to say.
Oh,
Just a
cool.
short little news.
Oh, excellent. Okay. And later, DeWolf, he could only stay on for a little bit. He is a family man, of course, with his amazing daughter, Dazzler Girl. And
Oh no, it's the son. He's at Spider-Man gymnastic class.
Oh, Spider-Man Jim. There you go. That's even better. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we
Right.
definitely want to hear from Dazzler Girl again, man. You said that was cute and fun, and she is so. I can't get over how well spoken she is. You're doing a good job, sir.
Yeah. I'm gonna find something good that's kind of relevant to where we're at here, possibly, and have her read through it and give us another a great opinion from her perspective.
Excellent. Excellent. Anybody else
Have a
here
good-
reading Justice League Dark? I haven't read any of it.
No, I haven't read it either, but I like the look of it. I've always liked the idea of a full Magic team of Justice League guys, and as long as they've got a proper Brit writing Constantine, I don't mind. I don't like the way Americans write them. They get them all wrong. They think just throwing in a bloody hell or a wanker is that's enough to be Constantine. It's just get out of here.
Okay, there you go. Racism.
Hey, I'm allowed to be racist. I'm from England, so I can mock them. It's okay.
Awesome.
Model 3
Go
says,
ahead.
Chester said people got nothing for the money. I meant not true. We got lovely photos. Yes, now he must be talking about the Zoe Quinn nude pics that she sold and put out. Mm. Zoe Quinn. It's just the gift that keeps giving. It's the gift that keeps giving. It won't go away. And her best buddy, Anita Sarkeesian, who is another wonderful human that's always up to making trouble, she's actually sticking her toe into the board gaming world, another place she has no business. So, yeah, it's just wonderful, wonderful when we get talking about these two. But thank you very much, Model 3. But yeah, thanks, Denelli. Interesting. Well, I'll keep it in mind. Maybe I'll actually go read a Justice League Dark. I've never checked it out. Maybe I should. All right. Well, now this right here is what everyone's been waiting for. So let's just go ahead and get right into it.
Give that a refresh,
I'm
Justin.
going to. Here we go. We're going to refresh to see how well Marky Wade is doing. Nope, he's still. Okay. Oh, he's making his money. He's raising his money.
It's coming.
It's coming.
They won't put their money into their own bloody Kickstarters or own comics, but they'll throw their money at Marky Mark Wade just to prove a point against DNC. How about that, eh?
Yeah. Now, of course, Denali, why don't you go ahead and lay out what we're talking about here for those who don't know?
Okay, for those who are not unaware, earlier this year, DNC, Diversity in Comics, Richard C. Myers, author of Jawbreaker and Ironside, filed a lawsuit against Mark Waid for for messing his business and causing a publisher to break contract with him and loss of revenues and profits as well. So he served him with a lawsuit for all the things that Mark Waid has done against Richard C. Myers. And you can see Ricardo Law reading about the suit and legal. He's an attorney, so he's better able to explain all that paperwork and stuff like that. In counter, it appears with Mark Waid and this GoFundMe, is he actually going to go fight this?
Looks like it.
Richard C. Yeah, so he's raising the funds about it, and he's writing that he's a professional comic book writer in the industry, and that he's against Comicsgate, and that, if you want to read what I'm fighting about, you can look at these articles, which are heavily biased against us. And, I'm doing my duty to be a hero by calling them out for targeting people of color, women, those individuals who are transitioning to their respective state, everything under the blue moon.
Yeah, but I think you're giving way too much credit to that. Let's look at a little bit more deeply.
Look at his sunbeaming face.
No. I'm not saying anything. This is what he's writing, so you guys can decide for yourself. This is just me summarizing what he wrote. And if you think me summarizing what he wrote is too big and too grandiose, actually read his website, read the articles he's been putting out, read the articles he's been putting in, and you get an idea of what they actually think. So this is just me summarizing.
Yeah, let me go into it a little deeper then, Denelli.
Yeah.
And just before I do that,
I want to point out something really quick first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you seen the goal number?
Yes, I did.
Is it familiar?
It is familiar.
That is the minimum. That is the minimum DNC wants in damages.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yes. So it could.
Wow.
It could be. Yeah, it could be a settling fee.
It might be. That's interesting because hold on a second, Danny. Hold on. Dark Admiral March here says, "I wonder if this is going to be like Trump Stormy Daniels' deal. She raises the fund, loses, and has to pay him." Well, Booster just mentioned that, so thank you very much, March. But we're going to look at a couple things in this article. We're going to look at who's backing him. We're going to look at the comments, but we're also going to look at this right here. And I understand you were summarizing, and thank you very much, Denali, but I think we need to read it verbatim because it says something about this man. And remember, he chose this picture. This is his GoFundMe. He set it up. That he chose that picture. right? Someone else didn't. He did. Okay. Those of you
Right.
can't see it. It's basically him looking off into the distance like some superheroic character that's going to save the world, but his face, for some reason, cannot allow him to not look incredibly smug and detached. That's what the
And just
picture
to
looks like.
and just to interject, Model 3 does point out is Tortious interference that Richard C. Myers served him with. That's what Mark Waid did against him. Tortious interference of business.
Yep. No, that's true.
Yeah, left that out of his little summary, by the way, as to why he's being sued.
Yes, that's what I want. That's why I want to read it, because it's Denali was giving us the information, which thank you very much, Denali. But you have to read what he's saying and how he's saying it. And Booster, I would like you to do this again, and I want you to use the same Valley Girl voice because I think it fits.
Oh, bloody hell! The exact same Valley Girl
Exact.
voice.
Yes.
All right, here we go, lads. Let me just warm up my vocal cords. Right. So, like, my name is Mark Waid. I'm a New York Times best-selling comics writer. Like, isn't that great? It's September of this year, and I was sued by a super bigot. And he leads, like, this super online harassment campaign of Nazis. And they're all called Comicsgate, which I and many comics professionals strongly feel was unfairly and offensively targeting women of color, my plantation slaves, people of color, and LGBTQ plus creators working in our industry in an effort to make them feel unwelcome, like super bad. And you could read more on the perspectives of Comicsgate and its harassment techniques in the Washington Post and on Inverts. I firmly believe this lawsuit is an effort to silence those of us who stand up publicly against bigotry and racism and continue to defend diverse creators from harassment. Like the real heroes we are. You can learn more about the lawsuit here, and I encourage you to visit my website, markwaid.com, for further details.
Thank you very much, Booster. Now, that first little entry, and then the rest of it is just information that Denali gave us. But what does he start out? His name. He is a New York Times best-selling comic writer. We got to know that, right? That he is the one that is being harassed, which of course is the opposite is true. He calls out Comicsgate specifically, which of course he talks about how wonderful a human he is in his protection of all the diversity. He talks about how we, or anyone who disagrees, I guess, is making those people feel unwelcome, which, whatever. The Washington Post mentioned us, which is interesting in and of itself. And he believes that this lawsuit is to silence all of those people and to push bigotry and racism. And of course, as Denali had said, this lawsuit is about Richard Meyer Mark Waid going to Antarctic and bullying them out of publishing Jawbreaker. That's what it's about. It's a legal matter. It is tortious interference in a legal matter and loss of money. But yet, for some reason, it gets twisted into bigotry and Nazism and all that other nonsense that they go out and of course fascists and all that kind of stuff. So thank you very much, Booster. Thank you very much, Denali. Now, Pixel, you've been pretty quiet, man. Why don't you tell us all the love you have for Mr. Waid?
I'm just going to stay quiet. No, seriously though, there is nothing to be said about this man that's good right now. No. I mean, from everything that's happened here, and just the fact that he continues to just spin this lie constantly. I mean, I know there are people on our side that will spin people up and will talk a bunch of trash, and the edge of our movement, people that we don't necessarily agree with, will say some bad things, but that's a really small minority of what Comicsgate really is. Comicsgate is we've said this so many times. We are a fan revolt. We are consumers that are tired of being force-fed crap, and we are changing or trying to change things with our wallets and saying we're not going to pay for that anymore. It's not anything that he wants to refer to us as. And when you go and start looking at the comments here, I was looking at the comments earlier, and the sheeple that either are not educated or have just been swallowing this lie wholeheartedly for this entire time, I just can't believe I see this. It's unfortunate. But yeah, I've got nothing for him anymore.
Yeah, no. Well, let's look at some of those comments that you mentioned. We got first one here from Greg Silber. Your comics have given me hope, and when I wanted to give up, thank you for standing up to bullies and bigots. Now, that's not a bad statement. He likes Mark's books, and Mark has certainly made some good books. And maybe he's unaware what's going on, and he hears that we're just bullies and bigots. So hey, it must be true. Mark Waid said it. This could be the situation.
Of course, everyone on this little panel here on the Hangout panel, everyone in the chat right now, just bullies and bigots.
Well, and here's a comment that just hit now from Andrew. If you want to refresh, it says,
Sure.
"You bully and harass people yourself. Peter Samedi is almost committed suicide because of you and your mindless, fascistic, sinful facts. And if you have the nerve to beg for money because of your stupid ass finally got burned, I can't believe I used to be a fan." And that just hit a minute ago from Andrew in the comments. Yeah.
Wow, and that is colorful language, but it is true.
Mm-hmm.
Look what they did to Peter, and all he did was thank someone. He literally just thanked someone who gave him a compliment on his book. How nice! But yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And then here's a from our favorite Mark Lombardi 7 minutes ago. I donated because I stand with Mark Waid. I believe that the bullying tactics and harassment campaign led by Meyer and his Comicsgate faithful should not go unpunished. Meyer is not a victim in this. This is a thank you for the enjoyment I receive in reading Birthright, Incorruptible, Irredeemable, and 100 of other comics with Mark Waid's name on it. Finish him, Mark. And this is Mark Lombardi, who was harassing and chain blocking potential customer just because they follow certain people. And talking down to the consumers. So let's just get that one clear. You'll see everybody who support has a stake in this. Because if Mark Waid loses his lawsuit, that sets precedent in the courts for other lawsuits to arise and be pointed towards them.
And there's some points that may come out with this, because if this goes to court, then all the emails and all those communicated that went on behind the scene that were leaked out that allowed Richard to be able to actually make this lawsuit are going to become public. So we're going to see maybe some interesting communication between these people, right? And if it's allowed to get to us in the end, which I'm assuming it will.
It depends if they put a motion to seal it. So only the jury, if there's a jury involved, and the judge would see those documents. Richard's lawyer would have to appeal to unseal those for public use. Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it goes. The important thing to remember is we have to wait and see what happens in the end. But hey, people want to support him, they can. But I just find it interesting how it's just never-ending run of yay Mark, evil other people who they obviously don't know what they're talking about. So,
one of the comments is actually from Neil Gaiman, so this one's actually very disappointing. I've got it here if you want me to get this. Mark was one of the first editors over 30 years ago. One of my first editors over 30 years ago. He was always on the side of creators and the underdogs. I'm happy to support him, and because suing people to shut them up is just wrong, says Neil Gaiman. That's a really disappointing comment.
Hey, well, John Layman has an opinion. Mark Waid is awesome, and Comicsgate sucks. Thanks, John.
So here's two comments from Timothy. The lawsuit comes down to this. Meyer is fighting for his right to be able to learn a living and enter a contract to publish his comics. Waid is fighting for his right to keep Meyer from being able to learn a living and enter a comic to publish his comics. If you're supporting Mark in this lawsuit, you're supporting a third party's right to decide whether or not two other people can do business. It's absurd, unethical, and frankly, a villainous position to take. Mark became a villain somewhere along the way. It's sad.
Well said.
And here's the difference. Those who are supporting Mark Waid, they're just saying rah rah rah, yeah, this is evil, and don't really talk about why Mark is being sued. And those who are against, like Timothy and Andrew, are talking about why Mark Waid is being sued. So imagine that.
Well, and we have to keep in mind that I think that we are better informed than they are. Now, it doesn't mean everyone over here that's enjoying this indie revival is up to date on exactly what's going on. Of course, that's not true. But we, as in us sitting here talking, we know exactly the whole thing that happened. We saw it happen, right? So we know that Mark Wake doesn't have a leg to stand on as far as in a moral position. We know what he did. It's known. We saw the emails or the DMs. We saw that. We know what he did. So we're well aware, and we know what Richard did, right? So
Yeah.
it's just another one of these things that people just following along. They're just following along, right?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it'll really be the jury, if there's a jury involved, and the judge, after reading all the articles, all the evidence that the plaintiff's attorneys submit to the court, and it'll be up to the defendants to attorneys to actually defend Mark. I was going to say Zay, but that's the attorney, Mark Waid, and show the court that Mark hasn't done anything wrong. So at the end of the story, it's up to the peers and to the Richards attorney to show what happened. And if their evidence is overwhelmingly and there's no way to dispute it, he's going to easily lose. So most likely, there's probably two options for him right now. It's either go through the trial or go and settle. So.
Yeah, and now Booster already mentioned this, but we have Nick W says, so Mark Waid is raising the same amount DNC is suing him for. Does he believe he's going to lose? Lol. Yeah, Booster said the same thing, and it's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Well, now, everyone, we're gonna continue in with what's going on with this case. Of course, we are. And tomorrow, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, of course, we have our fan speak, and we are going to be talking about a lot of things that's going on in this community. But we're going to talk about this some more. So we're going to come back and we're going to check out this GoFundMe and see how it's going, and we're going to read some more comments, and we're going to talk more about who has been backing him as well. But for today, we're going to leave that there, and we're going to come back to tomorrow, where I think things will certainly increase in their juiciness. But for right now, what we want to do to finish up the show is we want to go over here to Indicron, and we want to talk a little bit about that. So, Pixel, why don't you talk to us a little bit about Indicron, how things are going, and how things are shaping up, man?
Yeah, Indicron's doing pretty well. We've been getting a lot of hits. I've been watching analytics lately, and we're getting a couple hundred people visiting the site daily. There's definitely been a uptick recently, so people are starting to get the word. It's nice. I know a lot of the creators have started using it for their campaigns when they're talking about them, so they can show the page and talk about other people. Edwin has been really, really great about speaking about Indicron and trying to get new guys to hit us up. I'm still waiting for the agenda team to hit me up, though. They haven't contacted me yet, so hopefully they'll reach out. My DMs are open pretty much everywhere, so we'll see what happens there. I might have to hunt them down. I don't know. But there's quite a few campaigns that are going to be coming to a close pretty soon. Some of them will likely extend, especially I got to think that Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb, because of how fast it blew up, they've got like 2 more weeks left. But, so many of these campaigns will go for 60 days. It'll just extend at the end. I'm kind of curious if he's going to do that or just go straight to store. But the art's going to take almost a year to get done with it just being him. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm kind of curious how things are going to go.
Yeah, he did. Kyung did take Raid off on the Battle Maiden, and that's pretty cool. We got to see his art too on the one of the Drawn and Quartered. That was cool.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And the next one coming up is Asami, actually. So we got just a few more days left, and they've hit their goal. Thankfully, they were able to get a big push just recently.
Yeah. Well,
And
we've checked it out a couple of times, and it looks
yep.
good. And people should go over to Indicron. We have the links down below, and of course, Pixel also is a sponsor of this channel. We thank you very much, sir, for helping us out with all the things you do for us. But we have the link down below, and please go check that out. And it's extremely useful, guys. Yeah, and we have March says that T-Bird and Throttle can use a boost. Yeah, they can. I thought this was a beautiful comic, and I hope they do well. And they're kind of shy though, and they're
Yeah.
coming up on their deadline. But I hope they do well because it looks
You
great.
know,
Yeah.
most campaigns wind up making about, well, I mean, just the smaller ones can make easily $5,000 in a single day if they get a big enough push. So I imagine that a few more times going on the circuit, talking to a bunch of different shows, just leading up to that final day, they're going to make their goal. It's just going to be a little bit difficult, and it's going to come down to the wire. But there have been a number of campaigns that have come down to the wire, and then once they hit their goal, they extended and have doubled what they had when they hit their goal. So
There you go. Excellent.
anything is possible, really.
And I think what would be best to serve is, don't try to hit those high number goals like 10,000 or 15,000 if you don't have the base of it. Try go for the smaller goals, because once you hit that goal on Indiegogo, they start promoting you more. On the recommendation for more exposure once you hit the goal. So aim lower and then make all the money, more of the money in demand. That would be a recommendation.
Yeah, I
Wow.
really feel they should stay in demand until they're about to hit print, man. That's just me, though.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the way they should do it. Yeah, me too. Now, we are actually starting to get some of these books in our hands, and we're going to be talking about them. Blue Mamba has come into our hands digitally, I think. But I don't know if we want to talk about that today, but we will certainly give you our opinion on that. Booster has quite the opinion on it, I think.
Yeah.
I like boobs.
Booster does.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Over here, Hoth Rebel 86 says, "Do you guys know Do you guys know what books will be going to print soon? I know Graveyard Shift is close. I don't know those things. Pixel, do you know anything about these guys behind the scenes going to print and stuff?"
No, and unfortunately, once I get a lot of these guys listed, they don't really follow up with me anymore to say, "Hey, we're in fulfillment," or "Hey, we're finally finished with everything." I've had to kind of chase that down and get feedback.
I believe Joe Malin said he'll be closing on Halloween.
Yeah, he'll close on Halloween for sure. So that's coming up pretty fast.
Yeah, no, it is next week. Absolutely. And of course, just keep in mind that on the 31st, we are doing a special show here, a Halloween show, and we will be doing the art contest for the Fanspeak logo and mascot. So you still have time to get involved with that. Put your art together, go throw it on the Fanspeak Facebook page, and link is down below. And the 31st, we're going to be doing the straw poll for that. And of course, we're also going to be doing the Comics Titans fundraiser charity raffle. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and of course, I think many things will be going on Halloween. That's always fun. But I do want to mention something before we get out here today, and that involves Mortal Worlds. If you guys check this one out, it's sitting at $835. They want 10,000, and they're going to November 16th. It's they're probably going to demand as well. But now Denali, these guys have been making a little bit of trouble. You have some opinion on it?
Well, I know there's a little bit of feud going on between Mortal Worlds or Mortal Wounds, depending on which the author or whoever is saying it. With EVS saying that EVS is kind of gatekeeping themselves because they're not getting on their show to market it, and he's being biased against European creators. But the point of the matter is that you have to build your own platform. You have to build your own community. You have to build in that audience before you even launch, and that EVS is not obligated at all to have him on your show. Mm-hmm. And that's something that people don't understand. He's just trying to be helpful, but he's not obligated at all to have you guys on, any creator on his show, and he said that numerous times.
And we've been saying it as well. I mean, it's great that Ethan is so helpful, but we need to find a way. You need to find a way to sell your book aside from having to be on Ethan. If it's only about being on Ethan shows, the only way you can do your Indiegogo, then you're doing something wrong. There you go. That's the end of it. I mean, Ethan is not responsible for your success. You are.
I hear there's this great show that starts on Fridays, 8 p.m. EST, called Fanspeak, which you can promote your work on, I believe.
That's
wow.
True. We do have that as well. Yeah. Now, Booster, you are a foreigner, so why don't you give your opinion on Ethan hating on foreigners, man?
Oh, you can't trust a bloody Londoner. Look at these guys with their bloody posh accents. They're in there. Oh, and this Ethan lad, he won't even let us on his own channel. Oh, piss off. I'm sorry. I can't stand those really posh accents.
Ding, yeah.
Well, and March Hare makes a good point. I've heard that this is the third time they've putting up this project. And maybe that's why Mortal Wounds, Mortal Worlds, maybe that's why there's confusion, because they keep trying to remarket. But obviously, they haven't built up the community. And as Denelli has said, as DeWolf has said, I think all of us have said at one time or another, you have to build up your community, guys. You have to have a group of people that are going to be excited about what you're doing. Not only that they're going to give their money to you, but that they're going to talk about it and spread the word about it. That's what you have to do. You have to build up a thing. You have to do proper marketing. Using IndieCron is an excellent idea because the community looks at it, but you got to do more than that. And if you're sitting here and saying, "Oh, Ethan's responsible. Ethan has to put us on. Ethan has to make our money," do you realize how foolish you sound? Now, you might be thinking I'm being a bit too direct, but I'm not. You sound like a fool. In no way does Ethan have any responsibility to sell you anything or do anything for you. And why would you sit there and start making arguments to Ethan because he's not helping you? You said he's helping his buddies. Of course he's helping his buddies. They're his buddies. What is wrong with you? Grow up. I mean, honestly, do your job. This is business. This isn't, yay, give me money. Do your job. I mean, that's how I feel about it. But now I don't want to put Pixel in a position here because Pixel runs IndieCron. So Pixel, I know you still have it up. So people have been calling for them to be pulled down, which I don't think they should be. But I want to have Pixel's opinion because we do have people saying they should be pulled down, which I don't agree with. But Pixel, please, give the rebuttal on that, please.
Yeah, I made it pretty clear in my response to one of the tweets, and I just said that the question really isn't. Actually, let me just find the tweet real quick here, so I don't have to paraphrase myself. It says the question should be: are they treating the community and fans okay? Disagreements with other creators isn't immediate grounds for removal, but disrespecting the community is. In the end, they say that they're Comicsgate, and the community will decide with their wallets whether the book will fund. So, for me, running IndieCron. Like I've said in a previous show, there's only been a handful of instances where I've decided not to list something, and it was there was certain reasons that I really don't want to go into right now, but I can talk about it some other time. This particular case is just a disagreement with two creators. Granted, they're going after the biggest name currently in Comicsgate. I mean, arguably because DNC is there as well, but they put a big target on their back. But they still say that they're Comicsgate. They still believe in the values that Comicsgate does. They're just, starting a little bit of trouble with one of the big guys. If they want to come to me and say, "Hey, pull me down. I don't want to be part of Comicsgate," I will pull them down. If they start treating the fans like crap, I will pull them down myself. But until I see that happen, I'm not going to just rip a book down because a few people disagree with what they've said. Or even if, 50, 60, 70, I don't really care. It's more a matter of principle as far as, are they Comicsgate? They say they are, then I'll leave them there for now.
Yeah, and this is a consumer-led movement. And if they are able to capture your imagination enough to buy into their book, then the number will show. And if they don't, the number will show. So at the end of the story, it's us, the community, that will decide whether this project succeeds or fails. And it's the only obligation that the creator has is to market it well and to bring out our enthusiasm and spark that imagination and say, "Hey, this sounds like a good idea, a good story, and good art. that I want to spend my money on. And if you are unable to do that and you're causing trouble with the big guy and you're wasting time with that argument, then you're just showing that you don't really care. And that's the perspective of it.
And I understand where they're coming from, though. It is a matter of access, and it's hard to get in front of a lot of people. I've seen a lot of campaigns; they just don't know who to reach out to. They don't know what they're doing, or they get frustrated because they aren't getting in front of the people that they really want to. I don't know when they started reaching out to EVS. I mean, I think they were on his show at least once, if I'm not mistaken. So they got on. I mean, that's better than a lot of these campaigns have gotten so far. And some of these campaigns have made it without being on EVS. And he's the biggest name. He's drawing a lot of people. He's getting the most views. Yes, he's the platform that everybody aspires to be on, but we have to work harder to get in front of more people and not rely on EVS to push everybody.
Yeah.
That's not how we're going to grow this community. That's just going to be another niche, another close group, and that's not what we want. If we're really a consumer-led movement, we have to keep reaching out beyond our smaller groups and go bigger. Yes, there's the group, the OGs, there is, but industry relies on growth, and if there's no growth, there's not going to be enough space for everybody to flourish, and that's what we want. We don't want to. We're making a pie, but we need to grow that pie as well.
Yeah, and Primarch Sanguinius actually brought up a point. There were some issues with the coloring that a lot of people pointed out that they don't really like. Like this particular scene right here that their promo image has, it's super heavily yellowed or browned even. I'm sure that's smooth and that's part of the thing, but that doesn't really sell me the book. That sells me a really dreary kind of image. It doesn't let the colors pop and excite me. It kind of depresses me.
I thought Mutant Ninja Turtles when I saw it. Go ahead.
Was it filtered over with something? It's the coloring is very homogenized, but other than that, I quite like the artwork and everything. It reminds me of Tom King's Omega Man.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely mood coloring, and it works great when certain scenes, to really want to have it. But when you're trying to put your top image to pull people in, you want to have the best possible representation of the colors of the characters and just something that's really eye-catching. And I think they missed the boat here.
Yeah. Well, and also I haven't given my opinion on the book at all. I'm just talking about the little mini controversy is going on, and especially the fact that you're telling me he's been on EVS. So EVS did put you on. He did support you, but you're still making noise? What, he has to put you on 5 times, 10 times? What is the requirement? Please let me know. Where's it written down?
Yeah.
But hey, that's my opinion. Keep in mind, these are my opinions. They don't have to be your opinions. And Draken has a different opinion. So let's go over here and see what Draken has to say. Draken says that I don't agree completely with that. If your goal is to build a whole new indie stream, then you should be promoting people outside of your circle because it helps that goal. That's fair. If it isn't, and you're only about you and your friends, then that is a different thing you are doing. EVS is giving mixed messages in this regard. He talks like the former until pushed, and then talks like the latter. Then I find it annoying, but if other people don't, then whatever. Now, that's a fair point. I get you're saying, and what you're doing is putting responsibility on Ethan. And to be fair, Ethan has kind of made comments here and there that he wants to grow the community, and in a way, kind of taking a little bit of that responsibility, I suppose. I understand that side of it, and I completely agree with Pixel's doing. There's no reason at all to take this down. Of course, it should be up, but yeah, I just don't think it's fair to Ethan, man. Especially with the fact that he did have these guys on. I mean, how many times does he have you on? How many times does he have to push? Does he have to be your free commercial guy? Now, maybe the way to solve it is simply that Ethan puts together some little pay package, and you pay him, say, $500, $1,000, whatever it is. Ethan sets it up, and in whatever package you take, then Ethan will have you on that many times, and he will be a commercial for you. Maybe that's what he needs to do. Now, it sound, you might say, "Oh, we want to be friends about it," but if you're going to come here and he puts you on the channel, and then you start yelling and screaming that he hasn't focused on you enough, well, then you're not being very friendly, are you? The guy gave you a leg up, but it's not enough for you. So maybe Ethan needs to do something like that. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but I mean,
And he also mentioned before that, when he gets you on, as long as you're entertaining, then he'll keep bringing you on. And if you're not entertaining and you're not contributing to his stream, then that's airtime wasted for him as well, because he is a monetized channel. So, and people do, watch to be entertained. So he's all about that radio talk show and everything. I'm not apologizing for Ethan's action or defending him, but he has made those comments as well.
Yeah. And you're having a conversation over here in the chat and stuff, and I don't agree, and I do agree, and I have all kind of opinions just like everybody else does.
Yeah.
So we'll
It's
see how
complex.
it plays. It is complex, but
Yeah.
I just want it. I just don't think it's fair to Ethan that he has to be responsible for everything. That's all I'm saying.
I
Booster,
just
go
think
ahead,
it's a shame they pulled this because I think the artwork's kind of cool. I don't know if it works with a lot of other people, but I think what they've got going here looks really cool and creative. But man, I think they've really screwed over their chances of being funded by making a big fuss.
Or maybe they were just trying to get more attention. It could just be a marketing ploy, actually.
I mean, it's
Maybe,
what
but it ain't working.
yeah, whatever they're trying to do, I think they're going the wrong way of it, and they need to reevaluate how exactly they're going to push for this product.
Yeah.
And that's something, we kind of have to kind of push this message along. It's like, before you throw at Indiegogo, look at what kind of audience you're trying to market to. Look, who's the people who are most likely going to buy your comic book, and know how to sell it, and and be on top of that selling. Do not be passive about it and wait, oh, I'm going to go on this person's channel or this person's channel. Every channel that you go to is a potential customer that will buy. And as long as one person buy your comic, that's one more sale that you gain, and it's not time wasted. Because if they are excited, they will start being your own advertising for you, so to speak.
Yeah. But I also think another way to do it is instead of having to rely on Ethan, which the whole community is doing right now, what we really need to do is shift it to, other than your own personal marketing, we need to shift things more and more and more over to Indiecron. Because the more these pros talk about Indiecron, the more we utilize Indiecron, the more centered it becomes. And if you put your book on the Indiecron, then the people in this community are like, oh, okay, here we go. This is a book that's going to be fun, and it's not going to preach at us about politics. We're just going to have fun with a book. So then the community is looking at it. Then with your own marketing and your own community that you built up, now you have a larger group of people looking at it. And you got to keep in mind as well, this is a free service. Pixel is not getting paid money for this. He is just done this, to help the community. And it is a great resource, and they need to be focusing more and more and more, because if we have Indiecron as the center place where everybody goes to check out all these indie revival books, then it takes less pressure off of Ethan, which is what we need to do. Because I think everybody can agree that leaving it where Ethan is responsible, it makes it very difficult for Ethan, but it also makes it very difficult for the community. And when you start getting these words like gatekeeper and things like those coming in, well, that's what you're doing. You're basically yelling that he's being a gatekeeper, but then you're demanding he be a gatekeeper. I mean, come on, guys. We need to find better ways to fix this situation. And Indiecron, I think, is a straight up way to fix it. So that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, when people are branding that around, they're pretty much giving authority and responsibility to other people. And if we're the leader of this consumer-led movement, then we have to take the responsibility, to look at it, whether we're creators or consumer, and have a hard look at the products that we're purchasing it, or, backing or pushing out to the communities. So don't give up your rights for that with those terminologies, at the end of the day.
Well, anyway, this conversation is going to continue. And like I said, I am just giving my opinion, guys. You have your opinion, and we can agree or disagree, or we can help enlighten each other. We can learn new things. So, I want the community to be successful. That's what my goal is. And I think we need to find ways that we can be successful in a unified way. And IndieCron is one of those things. I hope that we'll see more things come up in the community like it. And of course, that is one of the main things we're doing on Fanspeak, which is tomorrow at 8 p.m. Standard Time, as we always try to do. And we're trying to offer solutions. We're trying to help in any way we can. We're not creators, we're not important, we're not connected, but what we are is consumers. And we know what we want. And therefore, we hope that our insight and our ideas can be helpful to someone. And we welcome all the chat and all you guys and your opinions and ideas. Keep it coming. Keep interacting with us. Keep giving us ideas, and we certainly appreciate it. But we do need to be going today. Thank you all for the conversation. Some interesting news. We will certainly keep continuing with the Mark Wade thing and his GoFundMe, and hopefully he'll make his money. That means that Richard's going to get paid. We'll keep talking about IndieCron. We'll keep talking about this situation. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we should reach out to these guys and see if they want to come on Fanspeak and have a chat with us and tell us what is their thinking, what's going on, and maybe we can find some common ground, or maybe there's information we don't know and I'm just talking out the top of my head. But we'll see. So if these guys are listening, or
Yeah.
maybe we'll make our own contacts. But thank you all for coming today. It was great. Booster, tell them where they can find you, man.
Well, I can be found here most of the time on Chester Busby's channel, but I'm also got a Twitter that I don't use at King Booster Boy, boy with BOI. And yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Pixel Man, where can we find you?
You can find me online pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. All of them are Pixel Trader. And then, of course, IndieCron. I've got IndieCron. And then also DNQFE on Twitter for Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition.
Excellent. Denali?
You can always see my Twitter at Denali101. I'm here daily doing the news with Chesters and others, and I'm on the basement and Fanspeak. I believe Drawn and Quarter Fan Editions tonight on this channel at 10 p.m. Eastern. So that's like about 42 minutes away. So just hop back on, take your break, take your lunch, wherever you may be, and come enjoy and see these great artists and see who will be on Drawn and Quarter Pro Edition. And tonight's theme is going to be Skeletor, correct?
Yep, Skeletor. That's right.
Excellent.
That's correct. And I really work on my Skeletor impression. It's not working.
Okay.
That's
okay. All right, guys. Yep. Thank you very much. We got to get off because we are coming back in, like he said, about 42 minutes. We're doing the fan edition Drawn and Quartered. Please come back for that. That is a great show. We love that. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. And thank you for joining us. Remember, check out all those links. Support us. Help us out in any way you can. Join us. So we'll see you. We'll see you later. Bye.
Aloha.